had kind of a moment in my car this morning on my way to work, which is impressive because it's only a 10-minute drive. Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Just another struggling writer. The Beleaguered Authors one-stop shop for commiseration and hopefully inspiration. My name is Carrie Scher, and I am just another struggling writer. Well, I'm so glad you guys are here because today is the start of another writing vlog. A writing vlog where I am committing to finishing where traditionally the second act would end of a 3-act structure novel. I toyed with the 6-act structure in the outlining phase, and the way that the draft has shaken out, it doesn't really fit into that 6-act structure anymore. So for now, I'm reverting back to the 3-act structure. It's going to be tough. There is a very major confrontation that is going to take quite a lot of mental imagery, which is not actually my strongest point in writing. It is going to ask of me a lot of effort. So it is just after 9:30. So I am going to go ahead and move out to the living room. The living room has been a really productive space for me over the last couple of weeks. Ever since I got back from vacation, I just feel a really good sort of energy in that space right now. I'm going to pack up my computer and hopefully get at least the rest of this scene done. Would love to move into the next scene to set myself up for tomorrow. Okay, it is just now almost 11 o'clock and I am wrapping up for the day. I am so excited because this session was actually really productive, more productive than I expected. Last night when I left off, I was feeling still a little bit icky and like there were some blockages in the scene that I wasn't really happy about, and I was just really trying to smash my way through. But fortunately, as soon as I sat down tonight, the words just started coming. I just was right into it immediately. I managed to navigate the rest of that scene and get the information that I needed to convey out. It still will need revision. I don't like the way that the two halves of the scene bridge together, but the important thing is that I'm through it now and I can move on, which in a first draft is the most important thing. So I finished out the session with 1,208 words. I was really trying to make up the full like 450 that I didn't get yesterday, but I came up upon the end of a paragraph and I was like, this is it. This is where I need to take a break and kind of think through the next, like the stage direction for the next part of the scene. So now is a good time to stop. So 1,208, and I did move into the next scene. So like I talked about earlier, I managed to finish out that one and moved into the next one. So this coming up scene that I just started is kind of a big one, another major reveal. So that will be my goal for tomorrow. I am currently sitting at 63,838. And according to Dabble, if I hit my projected word count of 105,000, I am at 61%. So I am really in the thick of things right now, and I am getting ready to start rolling down that hill. I'm really excited. So I just wanted to read you my favorite line from this writing session. It actually ended up being the very first paragraph that I wrote. An uncomfortable feeling churns in Arceli's gut. It's like righteous indignation and unexplained guilt have gone to war behind her ribcage. She felt certain of the victor only a few moments ago. But Max wouldn't chastise her like this for no good reason. That was literally the first 3 lines of the whole session. I'm pretty pleased. I'm excited. So that puts a bow on Thursday. Excited to finally get out of that scene that I was feeling a little bit stuck in, and so grateful to actually be moving through and writing really easily again, and looking forward to continuing. That's it for Thursday. Hey y'all, just checking in. It is actually now Monday evening and I just got home from work. I just wanted to drop in and explain myself. My weekend did not get started off on the best foot productivity wise. My daughter had a show choir performance competition Friday evening, and it was taking place at a school that was right around the corner from my house. Literally, it was so close that the district chose not to bus them over. It was up to the parents to do the drop off. Unfortunately, what ended up happening was I had to drop her off at 6:30 and we did not end up getting home until almost midnight. They ended up running like an hour and a half behind. They were supposed to be done by no later than 10:15, 10:30. I already knew that writing was going to be pretty tight. It ended up being impossible. And then on Saturday, I don't really have an excuse. I just was not feeling very productive. I think that's probably fine because like I have said, the end of the month is my busiest time and it's really difficult for me. Like I always come home feeling extremely mentally taxed and I don't have a lot of mental energy left over. And so to me, Saturday was more like a recuperation day to get my energy back. I spent a lot of time just hanging out with my kids and being present and not really expecting myself to do anything. And that was actually really nice. And really important too, because I don't want to put myself in a position where I'm burning myself out from writing. And then really yesterday, there's just no excuse. I just lollygagged and lollygagged and lollygagged. I had to finish my project, so there was a little bit of that. And then I got a bunch of housework done, which needed to be done. I filmed a video, edited the video, I filmed a second video. You know, I just was pretty much procrastinating by doing anything but writing. Which brings me to this morning. I had kind of a moment in my car this morning on my way to work, which is impressive because it's only a 10-minute drive. So I somehow managed to have a mental breakdown just between leaving the house and getting to work. But the subject of my little moment was thinking about how many ideas I want to write, how many stories I have inside me that I want to write, and how long it is taking me to just finish one draft. I have been working on this draft since the moment I decided I would start working on it with intention, doing the world building and plotting and outlining and everything since May 1st of 2024. And that year anniversary is coming up in just a couple of months and I still haven't finished a first draft. That was really weighing heavily on me this morning about how long it is taking me. When in theory, I should be able to write something like this in just a couple of months. Why is it taking me this long to get this draft out? Then that got me thinking about like my A Day in the Life video that I did last week. Thinking about that video, I was already making excuses like, well, obviously I don't have time. I've got this and this and this. And while, yes, I do have a lot of obligations on my time, there is something to be said for the fact that I'm not truly prioritizing writing. I am trying to balance writing with all of the other things that I want to do. There are things that I have to do, things like work and taking care of my kids and school, but then there are also things like content creation, things that are taking up a lot of my time currency, and as a result, I'm not getting to spend that on writing. And so here we are at the beginning of March, and it has been my goal to have this first draft done by March 31st. And in the first couple of weeks of January, it looked like I was going to blow that out of the water. And now it's looking like I may not make it. And it's because I am continually saying, oh, I'll get to writing. And then I don't. One of my biggest excuses I have found, especially on the weekends, is like, oh, I prefer to do my writing at night because it's the only time I have a chance during the week. And so my brain feels better doing the writing at night. But then what happens is it gets to be nighttime and I'm too tired or I want to do something else because it's, the evening and the kids are around or whatever. And then I just make up excuses again to not do it. So something I really want to work on for the next 30 days or so until the end of this month is putting writing back at the forefront, actually prioritizing it this time. I always seem to find time for reading in the creases. I read a lot of ebooks, so when I am in the lobby of my doctor's office and I'm just waiting for her to come back out, I do reading there. My youngest swimming lessons is another place where I get some reading done. And while it's logistically a little bit tougher to do writing in those creases, it's not impossible. And if there was a will, I would find a way. In fact, I know that I have a way. I use specifically a web-based word processor specifically so that I can write on the go, and then I don't. So if I want to get this draft done by the end of March, I'm going to need to stop making excuses. I'm going to need to find that will, because I did the math, and if my word count holds, I need to be writing almost 1,500 words every single day between now and the end of the month in order to finish on time. And that's already a tough ask because my days are not standard and it's not always going to be conducive, which means I'm going to have to make up words on other days while also finding places to rest. Because ultimately, reading a book isn't what's the most important to me, or even the content creation. As much fun as I'm having with it, it's not the most important thing. Writing the damn book is the most important thing. And if I can't prioritize that in the moments where it matters, then what am I even doing here? So today is Monday, March 3rd, and I have some wood to chop. Not just with my word count, but also kind of with my mentality of how I am approaching this. For me, it's crunch time. The good news is that I do find that I thrive on a deadline. When I was writing semi-professionally a couple years back, I was writing 40,000 word novellas in 1 month, while also dealing with all of the stuff that you know that I've got. It was intense, and I think part of the reason I burnt out is because I was doing it back to back to back to back, so it wasn't just like 1 month of doing it. It was 2 or 3 months in a row and then a break and then 2 or 3 more months. So I know that it's possible. I know it will be tiring as hell, but that I can do it. I've done it before. I've written 40,000 words in a month. I've done it multiple times. The only hurdle I need to get over is treating this self-imposed deadline as an external deadline. I joke all the time about how like self-imposed deadlines don't mean anything to me because I'm used to disappointing myself, whereas someone else, that it would be like the end of my world if I were to let someone down in that way. So somehow I've got to trick my brain into thinking that March 31st is the hardest of hard deadlines. So what I've come up with is an incentive to get the draft done. And I've already thought of one. I would like to go on a trip to the flagship Half Price Books in Dallas. I live in Fort Worth, so it's not too much of a drive. And I mentioned it to my daughter, who's also a big reader, and she's also super excited. And my son would like to go because he knows they have a lot of like retro games and stuff, and he's really big into retro gaming right now. So he wants to go. So they're kind of like helping me with that. So that's the incentive. Finish the draft, go to the flagship Half Price Books. I also sort of think I need a punishment as well, because what motivates me when I have an external deadline is the shame and the guilt and the not wanting to be the weakest link and letting someone down and all of that. I don't know how to trick my brain into that part of it. I'm still working on that detail. Whatever I have to do to clear out the cobwebs and kick out whatever roadblocks are preventing me from really truly prioritizing my writing, I've got to do it. I also like how I've been sitting here talking about how I am decentering writing so often by engaging in other activities like reading and content creation. And I've been sitting here talking for now 15 minutes. And with that, I'm going to get up and not write. Okay, to be fair, it's early Monday evening. I've got to make dinner. I've got to take my daughter to swimming lessons. And I do have to fold a basket of laundry. I feel like those are pretty good things. When I'm done with all that, I'm going to sit back down and write. And I'm not going to let myself care if it's late. I'm not going to let myself care if there's writer's block. And I'm not going to let myself care if I'm tired, because sometimes it's worth it. And I think the pride and the sense of accomplishment and the just knowing that I can do it and that I still can make writing a priority will be worth it. That in and of itself, that feeling that I'm hoping to get when I do hit that deadline will be worth it. The next time you see me, I will be sitting on my couch getting to work. Hey y'all, just checking in for my post-writing session recap. This was a little bit of a tough one. I ended up getting 1,037 words, but it did take me probably the better part of 2 hours. And I think the main reason for that is because this scene that I am in now is the one that I had talked about in the last vlog or the vlog before that. This is a major baby. It is a scene that was conceived of very, very, very early in the process of developing this project. It is one of like the keystone moments for me with this project. And while its significance has shifted slightly, I don't think it's quite as important to the narrative as it used to be. It's still kind of a major moment. And the fact that I've kind of struggled with these keystone moments when they have come up in the course of drafting, they've not been good. They definitely haven't lived up to the hype in my head. I don't know. It's just really important to me that I get this one right, especially since I came so close to losing it a couple weeks ago. I just kind of took my time with it. Going well, it always ends up differently than you imagine, right? And it certainly is the case here, but it is still like, I'm still feeling like it's going in the right direction. Whereas with some of those other scenes, it felt more like I was just like adrift and letting whatever current the muse was following take me, rather than kind of sticking with my plan and really thinking things through. So I'm being a little bit more deliberate with this particular scene. And like I said, I feel like it's going well. Now, I only got 1,037 words, and I am supposed to be writing 1,500. But I've sort of worked out a plan, a schedule that could work, that will get me my 40,000 words while not exceeding my capacity on the days where I'm working and attending to my kids' stuff and got school and everything. So last week, it felt pretty solid that I could do 1,000 words a day reliably. What I think I could do is continue that during Monday through Friday. Just go for 1,000 words and not push it, except for the second week of the month when my kids won't be with me. They'll be with their dad. And then I could try doing 2,000 words a day. That will only get me an additional 5,000. I still need a little bit more. So I think this weekend what I could try to do is 10,000 words. Listen, we got to do what we got to do, okay? Yes, the last time I did a 10,000 word weekend, I crashed and burned for like a month afterwards. But it came on the heels of another big writing weekend, 7,500. And I did not have the motivation of being this close to the end. And look, I just think that maybe it's something I could do. Talk me out of it in the comments. Help me find another solution to get 40,000 words before the end of the month. But what's for sure is that I'm not writing 1,500 words today. It is almost 11:30 and I am very tired. Very tired. And I would like to go to bed. So I am going to make my peace with the fact that I'm going to get 1,037 words today. I'm leaving off in a pretty good spot. I think it'll set me up nicely for the next session, right in the middle of a tense moment, which I highly recommend. If I have one piece of advice to give new writers, it is don't leave a writing session at the end of a chapter, at the end of the scene. Leave in the middle of a moment if you can. Even in the middle of a sentence if you have to. Give yourself something to hook onto the next time you open your computer and you open your document. Because what I have found is that when you finish all your thoughts and you wrap everything up nicely, the next time you sit down, it's just like starting over again. You don't know where to begin. Definitely recommend leaving off in the middle of a moment that will inspire you to keep going the next time you pick up your computer. And once you're in that creative flow state, it'll be easier to start the next scene or next chapter when you're already in the middle of it rather than when you're just sitting down. Okay. Anyway, like I said, I think I've set myself up well for tomorrow. The only other thing I wanted to mention was today is the start of a new term. I am taking business law and something about the global business, international business, something. And I was really looking forward to the business law class, but I looked over the syllabi for both these classes today, and I'm a little worried. The workload seems really intense. So that doesn't really bode well for trying to focus on writing this month if I'm going to have to be spending like half as much time on school stuff. So that's going to be fun to juggle. I cannot say I'm looking forward to figuring it out, but it is just one of those things that I'm going to have to figure out. And with that, I am going to sign off for the night, go get into my bed, read another chapter or two of The Bone Ships by R.J. Barker, which I read like 5 years ago and really, really liked. And I picked it up again to annotate my physical copy. And guess what? I still really like it. Highly recommend. If you need a nautical, seafaring, piratey kind of fantasy book that is in a unique setting and has kind of a unique way of storytelling, pick it up. Really highly recommend it. And then I'm going to go to bed. Oh, and one more thing. Tonight, my daughter graduated level 5 in her swimming lessons. And so she's moved up to level 6, but they only had a Thursday slot available. So from now on, we won't be doing swimming lessons on Monday nights. It'll be on Thursday nights. So that it'll be interesting to see how that affects my productivity, like workflow. Fortunately, that won't start until next week. I've got some time to kind of work on that. Okay. I have apparently reached that state of exhaustion where I am just word vomiting. So I'm going to go to bed and I will check in with you tomorrow. Oh my God, y'all, I just turned off my light to go to bed and I just got the best idea for connecting a couple of plots together that will also make the whole series plot also stronger. So, oh my God, I'm so excited that I just thought of this. Once again, proving that the liminal space between sleep and consciousness is fertile ground for creativity. I'm going to bed now. Hey everyone. It is now Wednesday evening. Actually, it is Wednesday night. It's quite late. Well, my cat is causing every last bit of chaos she possibly can. And you may have noticed that I did not film yesterday. And the truth is, I just wasn't feeling like it. But the good news is that I did still write. So it was actually kind of beneficial for me to not film because A, it showed me that yes, I can write when the camera is not on me, but also that I kind of need to sometimes. I need to accept that writing and filming writing and filming do not always need to happen at the same time because like I said, I was just feeling very, very tired. We had kind of a crazy storm blow through here in North Texas yesterday, early in the morning, and the tornado sirens went off at 4:30. I woke up, my kids woke up, they were freaking out. I was trying to reassure them that it was fine. And then they went off again like half an hour later, and it was just like there was no chance for going back to sleep after that. So I was very tired, but I knew that I wanted to write. So I got my computer out and I just didn't film any of it. And I think this goes back to what I was saying in my video a couple days ago, is that sometimes the filming can actually be a hindrance to the writing process because it does take quite a bit more effort to film the process than it is to just sit down with your computer and write. And yesterday, I just did not have the energy for it, but I had just enough to get some writing done. And so I kind of snuggled up on my couch. It was pretty chilly because of the storm. I turned my fireplace on. I got a blanket and I just sort of lounged on the couch and did my writing. And I actually got quite a bit done. I think I got 1,200 words done. Even more importantly, I kind of love this scene that I'm doing. It is a major scene. This was the scene that almost got cut last week or the week before because I realized that I had done enough work in the previous scenes where this one was no longer necessary, and then I found a way to repurpose it. Apart from the plot point being changed, this whole scene is kind of going exactly how I envisioned it. It's going very, very well. It's not giving me any sort of difficulty to write like some other keystone scenes have previously in this draft. And so that felt really great. And you know what else I found yesterday in particular is as I was writing, there's something to be said for watching the progress bar and having a percentage that I relate to when I'm reading ebooks. I'm at 61%. Now I'm at 62%. Now I'm at 63%. And that's something I watch when I'm reading ebooks. I don't know. It just made it feel so real for the first time. This feels like a real book. This feels like a real moment that would occur at the 62% mark of a book. And this feels like I'm running up to the climax. And it's finally started to feel less like an incomplete work and more like the vision. Like I'm starting to see the vision. It's always been my vision, so I've always been able to see it. But like, I guess before I was sort of seeing the trees and not the forest, and now I'm seeing the forest. Like, this is a story. This is something that I hope will one day be in a book that I can hold and that people will read. And that's kind of new for me, because I, as many writers do, struggle with that self-confidence, especially this early in the process, believing that what I'm working on is going to be good enough to be published one day. So that was great. And then I laid down and went to bed and got an awesome idea to connect a couple of different plot points together. I mean, they were already connected, but this just adds a fresh layer to it that will really enrich this first trilogy especially, but also have ramifications for as far as the last book in this planned 9-book series. And yes, by the way, if you're new here, hello, hi. I am currently writing a urban fantasy inspired by Monster of the Week style TV shows, and as such, I have planned a 9-book series. I have enough like plot and material for 9 books. So all that to say, like I had just laid down, and writing right before bed means that when I lay down to go to sleep, I'm still like engaged with the creative part of my brain, and the part that is still engaged with the manuscript. And all of a sudden it just starts spitting out ideas. And that was one of them. And I'm like, I was so excited. Like I could not like contain my joy that I had gotten such a great idea. Yesterday, unwitnessed by the camera, I had a great writing day. Unfortunately, it is almost or after 10:30 because I always underestimate how long it takes to edit my reading wrap-up videos. They just take a little bit more editing because I'm adding in like the book covers and my star ratings. It just takes a little bit more energy. I am not that skilled at this video editing thing. And so it took me like almost 3 hours. I mean, we had my daughter's appointment like we always do, but something about my wrap-up videos just take forever to edit. And so here I am, and it's 10:30 and I haven't written yet. And honestly, when I got up from my computer, I was so sacked from doing that long edit of that video that I kind of thought that I was just going to go straight to bed. But sitting here talking about it now and reflecting on yesterday's success, I don't think I should break the chain now just because I'm tired. I mean, I am tired. I was tired yesterday too. I really wanted to go to bed at 9 o'clock when my oldest finally went to bed because of the early morning that we had, but I battled through it and I wrote, and I think I can battle through it again. So I may not do a full hour, or I may not even get my full 1,000 words, but I'm going to sit down. I'm going to try and at least get 500 and keep that chain going and keep the good vibrations going. I'm so close to finishing this big scene, and after it's done, it's going to be right into a confrontation with the antagonist, and so it's going to be really moving quickly. So I want to get out of the scene. I've been drafting it for 2 days now, so I'm ready. I think if I can at least finish the scene and then leave myself a hook into the next scene and the next chapter for tomorrow, I think I'll be satisfied with that, no matter what the word count is. So I'm going to sit down. I'm going to get a little bit of that done. We'll just go from there. Oh my gosh, I'm so tired. It is now just after 11:30, and I don't know what I was thinking saying that I was going to finish that scene, because I still have probably at least another 800 words left, and I just wrapped up at 670. It's still going well. I'm hitting all my marks and I'm getting all the information out. I still have quite a bit left to go, which is good because it was actually trending to be on the shorter side and I needed to beef it up, and I needed it to be longer. Anyway, I just forgot that when I was talking to you earlier. But 670 words, I left off on a spot where it's going to kick off the end part of the scene and get me moving into the next chapter. But I cannot go on any longer. I have got to go to bed. And with that, I'm actually going to wrap up this vlog here. It has been a week of writing in which I have only actually written just a couple of days, but it's been productive. It has been a very It has been, I don't want to know if the word productive is the right word to describe this last week, but it's been instructive for sure. I've made a lot of good progress and I've gotten a lot of good ideas and I am trending in the right direction. When I'm looking at my schedule for the rest of the month to finish out this draft by the end of the month, today's actually the only day that I shorted myself some words and I'm not going to stress too much about it. That is all for this weekly writing vlog. Thank you so much for watching. I so appreciate it. If you like my content and want to support the channel, please like and subscribe or consider leaving a comment down below. If you made it all the way to the end of this video, leave me the snoozing Z emoji for how tired I am right now in this moment. I have some ideas for some writing videos I want to put out, but I haven't finalized them yet. So you may get another vlog on Tuesday or you may get something completely different. Either way, I hope you look forward to it and I will see you then. Bye.